welcome to this episode of the Total Podcast with me, your host, Phil Scott. On this episode of the Total Podcast, I have a very special guest. She's written her first children's book, and I think you'll be quite impressed by it. Her name is Katie Saucedo, and Katie, thank you so much for appearing on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Of course, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Thank you, Katie. Well, first of all, let's tell the listeners a little bit about your background, where you were born, where you went to school, that kind of thing.
Sure, I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois girl. I went to grammar school, actually is right on the next block from my house. I still have still go to, the church services there and everything, and still part of my life. And for high school, I went to the same high school my parents went to where they met.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. It's a long time ago already for me. And
Oh,
I just always loved writing. English and writing was always my thing. I kind of, wanted to go into journalism at the time when I went to college. I kind of went in a different direction, but now in the past few years, it's just been on my heart to, do this book, and finally did it.
and where did you go to college?
I went to college at Moraine Valley College. It's a community college. I got my associate's degree there. Always wanted to go further, but life kind of happened, and you just didn't end up going back. But I kind of wish I did. I enjoyed school. I especially loved college. I really loved college. I like being able to pick what classes you want to go to and what interests you, and try to avoid the math at all costs. So.
hmm Now, tell me also, when you were a child, were you an avid reader, and is that kind of what inspired you in your later years?
Yes. Oh my gosh. My mom always bought me little golden books. Oh my goodness. The I had like a box full of books I remember for everything from the little golden books, Dr. Seuss, a lot of animal stuff because I've always loved animals. I've always loved animals. So she always would read to me and encourage me to read. My dad always jokes around that he reads a book about every 10 years.
Oh.
But my mom was a big encouragement, reading to me when I was a child.
Now, also tell me, what do you think drove your passion for writing?
I think I just always enjoyed it. I always wanted to, I just felt like I wanted to get a story out there and show, especially this particular book that I wrote. I wanted to honor my pets. I'm a big animal lover, as I mentioned. Suzy and Roxy, they're actually I don't know where the cat went, Roxy, but Suzy's on the floor next to me, and I got the puppy next. We just recently got a puppy too. So they're being nice and quiet right now, thankfully. But I just always wanted to write. I loved writing. I always remember when I was, oh gosh, maybe first or second grade, I wrote a story, and I was just so excited that I wrote it. It was like for school, we had to write like a short story for class or something. I might have been fourth grade. I
Mhm.
can't remember. But I was like, just you felt it in you. You just feel it in you that you love writing, and I think for me it was always a love of writing and an avoidance of, like I said earlier, of math.
Now, tell us about Suzy and Roxy Go Camping and,
Yeah,
and what motivated the idea, what inspired the idea for you to write about Suzy and Roxy going camping.
I I kind of wrestled with the idea of what I wanted my first book to be. I knew I wanted it to be about Susie and Roxy and adventure with them, but I didn't know like what direction to go down. But I decided to go with camping because we love camping in our family. When I was younger, my dad would take me camping all the time out west, like to Montana and Wyoming. Um, go with my husband too. Our family has my sister-in-law has a camper not maybe a couple hours away, and we like to go there. And I said, what about an adventure with them? Like, incorporate those elements of what I enjoy about camping and put it with Susie and Roxy.
Now, also, tell us about the illustrator of your book, too.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. I worked with Babuki Publishing and they got me connected with her. Just awesome. Just everything I dreamt of as far as my vision for my book. I thought I could do drawings. I really did. I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I got an iPad. I downloaded Procreate. I'm like, I cannot draw for nothing. I'm like, I need an illustrator big time.
Oh,
So I got connected with Babuki through a friend recommended them, and she was just awesome to work with. I feel like every time they came back to me with like this is how we drew this part of the book. What do you think of this? It was like exactly what I was uh envisioning. So I
mhm.
didn't feel like I had to be like, no, I want to change this, I want to change that. I feel like I hardly even did that. She was really awesome to work with.
Well, for you, what was the most challenging thing about writing the book? And then time-wise, how long did it take for you from start to finish
Sure.
to write it and then publish it?
I think the hardest thing is probably the editing and kind of like for me at least, do I want to change this section? Do I not want to change this section? And I think going back and forth on that. As far as how long it took, let me see. I think within I started writing it and editing it at the beginning of 2024, I think. And
Mhm.
then it came out last year in 2025. So I would say on average, probably about a year of working on it, editing, and just getting connected with Babuki and everything and going from there with the illustrations.
Now, one other thing I wanted to ask you about the whole process too, in terms of getting your book out there, like getting it on Amazon and that kind of thing, what were the pluses and minuses, challenges, and so forth in terms of getting your book out there?
Sure. I feel like I'm pretty savvy with some of that stuff, but I have to say I was challenged when it was time to, post things, and you're doing marketing and you're doing a lot on your own when you self-publish. And that was a kind of like a new thing. It was a new thing for me. And it was kind of like, you know, uh a challenge for me because I didn't go to school for marketing, so learning all that aspect. As far as putting it on Amazon, I did have a little bit of trouble and needed some help from my publisher at Babuki. Just formatting things and stuff is, I thought I was savvy with that stuff, like I mentioned, and I'm like, maybe I'm need a little help.
Now, do you see, after writing the book, do you see a little bit of your dog and your cat's personality in the characters and the
Yes,
story?
definitely. I think I incorporated like a lot of like my own, because a parts in the book, Roxy, which is my cat, she's a little sassy, and she is sassy, um, is basically overpacking for the trip. Now that's totally me. I remember going camping with my dad. I brought everything. I brought stuffed animals, games, comic books. He's like, "What are you doing? We're going camping." And he's like, I drove him nuts. Then I found out later from my mom that when they went up north, like to Minnesota, like not camping so much, but like staying in a cabin, she said, "You should have seen what your dad packed when he was a kid. Basketballs, all kinds of stuff. Where are you going to play basketball when you're at a cabin?" I laughed so hard. I said, "Well, you know what? He can't be mad at me then." But I
Now,
do see their personalities in. I tried to incorporate that in the book for Susie, which is my dog, and Roxy's the cat.
now, have you had a chance to read your book or to share your book with kids in the community?
I have. I read it a couple libraries, which was so much fun. It was a good experience. That was like last summer I was able to do that. And then I recently read at my grammar school. I contacted my grammar school and I was able to read to the kids there, and it was, oh my gosh, it was like such a full circle cool moment, like being able to go back to your grammar school and um just see some one of the teachers there was my seventh grade teacher, so I got to see him. It
Wow.
was so awesome. It was really awesome.
You're right. Talk about a full circle moment that
Yeah.
had to be.
Yes, that was just recently, actually. I think in January I read to the kids, and I was walking by one day, maybe about 2 weeks ago. I was walking past the school, and they were leaving for a field trip, and they all came running out. Miss Katie, we read your book. I was like, oh my heart! I was so excited. Like that makes it all worth it. It really does.
That's wonderful. Now tell me, in your opinion, what do you think you would do differently if you were someone came to you for advice about writing a book and trying to get your book published and they were trying to get theirs published? What advice do you think you would give a fellow writer
Mhm.
who is maybe getting started in the profession?
I love the self-publishing process. I really did. I honestly, if I really look at it, the most challenging part for me is the marketing, is the being able to keep up with the posts on Instagram and Facebook and um just putting yourself out there, which is a good thing. I mean, you sometimes you got to challenge yourself. You got to get out of your comfort zone, so to speak. And I could get real comfortable with like, sometimes I could be kind of reserved and introverted, but like you gotta realize you need to take the chance on yourself and put yourself out there and get your book out there because there's kids that are going to absolutely love it and that makes it all worth it. It just seeing them laugh or smile or look at the pictures. Oh, is that Susie, is that Roxy? I mean, that means everything to me. But I would say the challenging part is probably the marketing. The process for me going through Babuki and getting the book illustrated, getting it formatted and stuff. I was like taken care of so well. I can't I had no problems at all.
And that had to make a huge difference too, I would
It
think.
did, especially when it's something brand new to you and you're like, you really don't know what to expect. You really don't know what to expect when you're self-publishing. But then you realize, it's more than just, oh, I'm gonna, throw my book on Amazon and try to, you got to put yourself out there a little bit, which is fine. That's okay.
Now, do you plan on writing more books in the series or different children's books?
I do. I kind of thinking about both. Like I've got it on my mind. Everyone keeps asking, and it's just so exciting when people are asking. Um, I have something in the works. I do, but I'm just in the writing phase, so just getting started. But I definitely do want to do another book in the series with Suzy and Roxy, and I want to add in our new puppy.
Tell us about your puppy. I know you mentioned the puppy, I think, on
Yeah,
Amazon.
yeah. So my husband came home on my birthday in October and he came walking in with a box and I'm looking at him. I'm like, and me and my dad are looking at him and I opened the box and there's a little mini golden doodle inside and I was
Aw,
like, oh my gosh. I think I was more stunned than everything because Susie and Roxy are older and I was just scared that the puppy it'd just be too much for them. They're older, they're set in their ways. I'm like, here we're bringing in this 3-month-old puppy. But oh my gosh, the way it's worked out, like thank God, it's been just awesome. Like Susie and her lay together. Leia kisses the cat kisses her back. It's hilarious. I said I couldn't have asked for a better dog. We call her the little Sasquatch because she's a furry little thing.
aw,
She's sleeping right now, so I don't want to disturb her because she'll start barking.
aw. Well, we don't want to do that. Now, one last thing
Sure.
before you go. Tell us about your social media. You're on Instagram, Facebook, and that kind of thing. And where can people find your book to purchase it again?
Sure. I'm Katie Saucedo on Facebook. Instagram, it's cat sauce writes. I'll have to send you the little Instagram handle. And then my book can be purchased on Amazon. And if anyone had any questions, if you feel free to direct message me on Instagram or Facebook, I don't mind at all. Any questions at all, that's perfectly fine.
And I'll make sure to put that information in the show notes. So when people go to listen to the podcast, all of that information will be in the show notes. So thank you, Katie.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, it was an honor having you on the podcast today. What a fun book you wrote. And I'm looking forward to more of your work. So thank you so very much, Katie.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. With that, that is the end of this episode of the Total Podcast with me, your host, Phil Scott. Everyone stay safe, be careful out there, take care of one another, and we will talk again soon.